And she goes, I'd be great except for the bud mud. And my roommate right next to me spits his coffee out and was like, what the fuck did you just say? And she goes, the bud mud, you know. I drank so much Budweiser last night, I just have the trots, I have the shits. And it was, and we didn't talk after that, ever. You can intro.
All right, mate. So, this is live from Bangkok, and let's start this off by apologizing for last week. We had DJ IK's birthday on Monday, and the footage we took was not
Unusable.
Not usable. Maybe in a bloopers reel if we ever become famous, but not usable. And then on Wednesday, I had a bit of the Bangkok belly, which, if you're familiar with that, is something like food poisoning.
Rusty gut.
Yeah, not good. There was
rusty guts.
In America, we call it the Hershey squirts.
Exactly.
Y'all know about that right there. Nonetheless,
we're going to go into a podcast, and I'm going to go real quick, just straight up into a story for this podcast. Well, because he said Hershey squirts. This has something to do with everything, okay?
Okay.
So since this podcast, we're talking about MMA, we're talking about the ladies, we're talking about Bangkok, we're talking about all that type of stuff. Here's one for you. Girl of my dreams in college. Girl of my, like, you know, your
the
top
one.
10, the one.
Mila Kunis.
Pursued her for a long time. Pursued her for, you know, a good while.
Like a week?
No, it was months. She was on the field hockey team. I played football, and we had like preseason together, and like did the funny stuff then, and got into meeting at cafeterias. Anyways, Saturday night, finally get together. Great time with the lady. You know what I mean? Lovely, lovely, lovely ladies. Taking it down. Next morning, go to brunch. Sitting with the football team, girl comes over, sits down, she's with her friends, we got our friends, and she's like, how are you doing this morning? And I'm like, I'm lovely, how are you doing this morning? And she goes, I'd be great except for the bud mud. And my roommate right next to me spits his coffee out and was like, what the fuck did you just say? And she goes, the bud mud, you know. I drank so much Budweiser last night, I just have the trots, I have the shits. And it was, and we didn't talk after that ever.
Hold on.
And it's one of those things in my life where I feel like I'm selfish, but as I'm telling you the story, like I'm not selfish, right? Everybody agrees with me.
Everyone knows. Everyone.
You don't talk to. How can a hot chick tell you that she has bud mud?
Dude, fucking. There's one for Samuel Adams as well.
To publish this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna publish this. We're talking about bud mud and everything. Bud mud. Don't tell your boyfriend about it.
Don't discuss it.
For some nasty conversations.
Nonetheless,
MMA.
That can stream into MMA.
Listen, I can hook that into MMA. Do you remember when Kevin Randleman shit on Babalu's face by accident? Yeah, food poisoning.
Yeah, and I can hook that up into MMA too. Aside from this UFC event, MMA in Asia, that's what we generally talk about. MMA in Asia right now is bud mud.
I mean, it's not happening?
It's not really happening. Thus, see how I just, you know what I mean? The Asian MMA scene's Bud Mud. Road FC discussed how they're going to have a show outside.
International.
Outside, yeah, Korea. Aside from that, though, I've seen some great little promo videos of your boy Adam Kayoum, Andrew Leone, Gianni Soba, and some of the ONE FC guys. But aside from those like little video captions, aside from Ole Larson once again getting signed to Dare, I feel like that's still fucking gangster and major shit.
Ole Larson is gonna fight for Dare. That's great to know.
Yeah,
I wish I'd paid attention to the stream on Facebook in my timeline. What? Facebook, Dare Fight Sports. You could have known that.
Yeah, you could have known that if you followed Dare Fight Sports. You followed Ben the Hebrew Hammer.
You follow DJ IK on SoundCloud. But Jon Nutt is personal. He doesn't want you following.
Right, exactly.
So don't look up Jon Nutt.
Holler at me on Facebook, but that's about it.
Then you can get to Ben Stark HH on Twitter.
Yeah. And aside from that, yeah, man. Once again, no big news in the Asian MMA community.
Not a ton. Road FC, obviously, like you said, going first international show in Japan. but really no more details on that.
King of the Cage in the Philippines.
Now here's something to say about King of the Cage, and I don't want to sound like a hater. If the biggest coverage on King of the Cage is that you had Herb Dean and Rampage Jackson there, but not about the fights at all, and that's the biggest news coverage of it, you probably had a pretty shitty event.
I never understand this one. This is like something to talk about. Reed, put your 2 cents on this one. Get your listening on, because I just want to know how the DJ Ick feels about this as well.
Icky stuff.
When people have MMA shows and they glamorize, because I have a lot of friends that are fucking refs, obviously. I love officials. They're needed. They make things respectable. They make sports. Are you with me? But if, like, the clout to your show is that you have a celebrity referee, that ain't doing much for the business, right? What are people's opinions?
1 second. Can we backtrack a little bit there?
What was like?
What the hell are we going on about?
King of the Cage in the Philippines. Aren't you paying attention? Busy throwing pens?
King of the Cage in the Philippines has Herb Dean and Rampage Jackson making like guest appearances, and Herb Dean is reffing a fight in the Philippines, and that's like, you know.
There we go. That's the
that's the news. That's the information.
I missed.
Yeah.
Right there.
And what I'm wondering is how
do you know what? You're spot on.
As a fan.
But as a fan, if I heard Herb Dean was reffing a fight,
right,
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not even shitting.
He's got that much clout.
I'm not even shitting you.
Yeah.
What's nice about Herb Dean is that as a referee, he's actually fought.
Right.
Yeah,
I think he's had like 6 or 7 fights. No, he fought MMA like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, he's got a record, bro.
I think he's got like a 50-50 record, roughly, right around there. Don't quote me.
He's buddies with my buddy Robert Grant in LA. They do jiu-jitsu together. He used to go to they do jiu-jitsu.
Used for the hoops, my friends, or make sweeps.
But they do jiu-jitsu. He used to train at like Hey Diago.
He was old school.
Hey Diago was my first like ever knowing about the Portuguese language, by the way, like because it was Ray Diago or E-Y Diago. Hey Diago.
Hey Diago, bro.
Hey Diago.
Man, speaking of Brazilians, did you read the story that recently came up from Renzo Gracie? There's a new Facebook page called Stories I Used to Be a Bouncer, or I Used to Be a Bouncer or something. And Renzo Gracie was talking about how him and his buddy saved up like a month's worth of wages to go to the whorehouse. Mm-hmm. And while they were there, some guy had a girl and they didn't want to pay her. And the bouncer came in and the dude knocked out the bouncer. So Renzo just ran over and kind of choked him out. And then they gave him a job at the whorehouse as a bouncer, or I guess him and his buddy as assistant bouncer. So they got a paycheck, they got a place to sleep, they got some food, which apparently they didn't have at the time.
And they got hose.
And they got free hose. Free hose, and he was 14. Go Renzo Gracie.
14 years old with free hoe capabilities.
What is it, like one a shift, but only at the end of your shift, or only before? Right. Or did you have to come in on your day off, you couldn't hoe it and work at the same time?
And to get even more gruesome and rated X on it, if I was 14 years old and you had free hoe privileges, I wouldn't even know about masturbation.
I wouldn't even
know what it is.
Wouldn't exist. Unless they were like, listen, Jackrabbit Jim, tone that shit down.
I wouldn't have any clue. I'd just be...
That Renzo, he's like the coolest guy
Hey, Cinnamon.
Ever.
Hey, Cinnamon. How you doing?
Hey, Platinum. What's going on, Platinum? Now.
Cherish.
Now.
I will cherish you.
Let's talk about a little more Asian MMA. Because whores are fun, but Asian MMA is what we're here for.
Right.
Pancrase is having its 20th anniversary.
Right there.
It is Bangkok. I know. One of the tags is probably Bangkok Hooker or something, but that's not what we're all about right now. We're all about MMA.
MMA.
Which might mean horse. Actually, that's ma. But same, but a different. Nonetheless, Pancrase 20th anniversary show, September 29th, which is just a few days before the Dare show.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
October.
Nonetheless, Pancrase, one of the very first organizations, I believe only predated by Shudo. Shudo started in, I want to say, 85, being the first legitimate like founded MMA event.
Right.
Pancrase not much farther after in the early 90s, maybe 89 area.
Right.
With the palm strikes.
Yeah, the Boss Rutan days. Yeah, exactly.
The only guy who could really bang back in the day. I think.
Yeah, man. Frank Shamrock. Come on now.
Yeah.
There was some good. There was some good.
Right.
And there was that Fuji, because Mozzie or whatever that dude's name was. He used to bang.
Now,
Yeah.
the dude who made it to the UFC as well, TK, matey.
Right.
Yeah. Well, TK was more of a rings guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, rings
so-
was around that same era. Do you remember seeing Fedor and rings in like 93?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I watched a great. I watched Fedor semi-shoot the other day. It's funny because everybody's so on Fedor's nuts, and I'm still of the means that like it's just.
more into his MMA fighting.
And this is what can parlay like on a greatest fighter to greatest fighter note. We can go right into the fucking Anderson Silva shit and just talk mad crap right now.
Wait, let's finish off Asia before we jump into the UFC.
All right.
Lastly, in Asia, and not as big a news as Pancrase's 20th anniversary.
To annoy you. Keep going.
I'm sorry. Not as big as Pancrase's 20th anniversary, but still, Asian news. Arnaud Lepont is leaving his Muay Fit gym, and going to another team. Now, he will be running a Muay Fit in another part of Malaysia. Let me find this city name right here. But he will also be training with another team. So, it's weird. Like, he said he's going to be based out of Muay Fit Puchong, as opposed to his old Muay Fit branch, and he'll be doing classes and training with T-Rex Gym. But he'll no longer be fighting for Muay Fit. He'll be fighting now for T-Rex and just working at Muay Fit.
Okay.
Also, he's going down to 145, and he wants his first fight to be with Boku.
That's awesome.
I think Boku and him would be a great slugfest.
I think him and Boku would be a great slugfest as
You know, I
well.
love Arno.
Yeah, obviously I love Arno as well. I didn't know this news. I'm a little disappointed about it.
Is
You think Katsuboku would just knock Arno out, huh?
a particularly good fight for him.
I think Arno actually would probably be able to pull off like a guillotine like he does.
Here's the thing.
I think he can easily. They could get into the whole slugfest thing. Arno's like the. I don't want to be the gayest person that says this, but he's like the Chris Lieben of fucking. He's like the Chris Lieben of Asia. He's like the Chris. You know what I mean?
I think
like,
he has cleaner striking.
I think he has
Chris
cleaner
Lieben.
striking too. But what he has is like. It's funny because people talk about Arno's.
Lieben's a better fighter though.
People will talk about
More
Arno's
well-rounded
striking
fighter.
all the time. They're always like, because he's such an aggressive striker. But yo, he hasn't shown huge knockout power. He's my boy. He hasn't shown huge knockout power since being really in Asian MMA. He throws out that guillotine a bunch, but what he does is, man, Arno takes a thumping.
He's a tough guy.
Arno takes
Who did he
licks.
fight? Who did he fight?
Brian Choi just boxed his face. Haja was winning the fight.
That he was.
Haja was winning the fight.
Totally winning the fight, man. He took it from him.
Now, of this, on a personal note for me,
Yeah.
the Arnaud news is very depressing for me
Why?
because Nantachai Sito is going to be in Malaysia.
Okay.
Nantachai is, if you know Muay Thai, Nantachai Sito is like the king of the clinch.
Right.
Like, one of the best clinches ever. Guy's amazing. And he was the guy who trained me when I was a Tiger for 2 months.
Okay.
So for him to be leaving Thailand means it's going to be less likely that I get to train with him, which for me, very selfishly, makes me sad.
And that's what you do all day, every day. Selfishness.
No,
So you are Hebrew Hammer.
Not that. Yeah,
Stereotype.
the Hebrew Hammer is
Stereotype it
giving.
up. Exactly.
I'm not miserly. I'm giving.
C-bombs. Cunt. Face. No.
We don't use that word in America.
People
Good
say
thing we're
it.
in Bangkok, bitches.
Bitches.
Nonetheless, that is literally everything that's going on in Asian MMA. Everything. It's kind of
It's
ridiculous.
nice to hear about Arnaud. And I like hearing you call him Arnaud.
Arnaud Lepont.
Anybody that's French, I enjoy.
Is Arnaud. Arnaud.
Arnaud.
Arnaud Lepont. Lepont. I hope I said that right. I hope I didn't make him angry by saying Lepont.
Mm.
Arnaud.
Anywho.
Yes, on to America.
Yeah, get into it.
America.
Because this UFC did happen this past weekend, and obviously the most retarded thing ever. And like, I mean, as far as social media, Facebook feeds go that I follow so much.
Oh, Gabriel Gonzaga, David Herman.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
Gabriel Gonzaga knocking Dave Herman out.
Pretty
like,
nice. Good timing on the
shirts
step-in.
off, Reed.
I, however, don't understand that little flick kick.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's super long and Gonzaga is shorter, but would you really just flick a weak inside leg kick out in front of someone like that?
I thought he kind of turned his he turned his hip into it and then decided not to kick, but at the very last second decided to continue with his kick.
Yeah.
I don't think he had an option, man.
And then did that stupid little flick with his foot.
Well, either way, as we discussed, me and you earlier, and all of us earlier, the whole letting down of the hand when you're gonna throw that kick. Let's pay attention to keeping that fucking hand up at the jaw.
In Muay Thai, you can kind of get away with that low sweep. In MMA, I've always been taught you keep it level, almost like you're brushing their face. Or I've even had some coaches who tell me to use just like an arm twitch to help push the hip through.
I watched the post-fight interviews and they were saying like, is that something you trained for? And Gonzaga said, yeah, we watched his tape and we saw every time he throws a leg kick, he drops his hands.
Really?
Yeah. So they trained that straight up.
Yeah, of course.
Big overhand right,
big
overhand left, whichever side.
Soak the kick, big step in and dump him.
And as a fighter, you've done it over and over again. You know where the dude's face is at. Hit him in the chin, and it doesn't matter how big he is.
This isn't Asian MMA, but it's Asian just combat sports. Muay Thai tomorrow night at Lumpini Stadium. Pekan is fighting Sakadao, and that's like a huge fight. Pekan is at Jitty Gym right now in Rajat Pisek, so like I see the dude every day, and that dude is a crusher. And yeah, the only way that it relates to the whole Gabriel Gonzaga thing is that I've seen that dude knock people out the same way, and it's fantastic. Love seeing knockouts that happen in like the first 15 seconds of it. So fast, man. So fast. It's like the first thing that is. It's the only action that happens.
Oh,
knockouts like that are great because it just means once again the connection of the jaw, the whole thing. I dig it. I dig it. You dig it?
Since last week got kind of scrapped, we didn't get to talk about this, and I don't mean to jump off the UFC topic because that is the big news, but this has to be talked about. Cambodia. Sharpshooter submission.
Yeah.
In an MMA fight. Granted, not set up like Bret Hart, not set up like the Scorpion Deathlock Stinger.
You are correct.
But nonetheless, ending up very similarly.
Yes, and with it just like an evil pigeon toe hole or whatever the fuck that was.
Like, for those of you who didn't see it, JP might throw it up over here. Hopefully he can. What basically happened, the guy got knocked down or fell, and the man on top kind of pressed hips in, you know, and the guy gave him a foot, so he locked the foot up like an Achilles, but the feet were tangled, so he had like a double twist.
So yeah, exactly. It was like he was trying to go for the yoke, but he couldn't, and so he did the step over.
No, he just like lifted the Achilles like you would like do a standing guillotine and walked forward, and eventually the guy just kind of tipped over, and he landed on his back and sat down like a sharpshooter, and the dude tapped, and it was awesome.
And it was amazing. Yeah. And it was officially like a WWF 1989.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Woo!
Bret Hart, brother.
Yeah, me and you differ on that.
Yeah, I don't like Bret Hart. Nonetheless, if my friends heard me say that, they'd really be mad at me. Anyway, back to the UFC. But Cambodia sharpshooter, look that up or click this thing.
Yeah. To be the best, you need to beat the best.
Right. That was Ric Flair.
I know.
Okay, so back to the UFC. So we had Gonzaga Herman, which was quick.
Let's just say that let's just go out there and just say this past UFC was a good UFC event because some of them have been pretty slow and some of them have had some shitty fights lately.
The last good one was in Brazil, wasn't it?
It was in Brazil, yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe seeing Vitor once again, that all his shit.
That is not professional.
Vitor, man.
Sorry about that.
I'm not down with Vitor Belfort.
Okay, speaking of Vitor, because this brings it up, what are your thoughts on TRT?
My thoughts on
People
TRT?
shouldn't take it.
It depends. Yeah.
If you've got low testosterone, because whatever reason, then you shouldn't be fighting. Whether you're old, whether you took fucking
Like some people
before.
naturally have low testosterone, which I understand. I kind of like Nevada's
So
rule.
people are naturally small, so they don't fight at heavyweight.
Yeah, and well, I see. Like, I've never done. I've not.
Don't go fight dudes. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, I've never
Get some
done
titties
anything.
and fight girls. Phelan Fox, what's up,
There you
shawty?
go.
Phelan Fox.
Boom. Chop
Yeah.
it.
I don't understand it.
No,
I don't really
no,
understand it
no.
either. I understand it as like
I'm not
as a
that.
determined fighter, but like I don't think it actually. See, it brings up actually a whole nother subject when you talk about TRX and you talk about steroids and stuff.
TRX.
TRT. Come on now. Somebody's been drinking a little bit. 100 Pipers, 100 Friends. Anywho, TRT, steroids in general. So competition is competition, and everybody's trying to, what? Why do we keep score? It's competition. Why do people win? It's competition. This is the thing, like fighting. That you hear the Joe Rogans of the world. UFC is the sport of fighting, and that's the truth. It's the sport of fighting. It's not a fight, because fights happen if you fight against me and my friends beat you up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
No way, bro. I'd win.
Exactly. But so so on a competitive level, there's an internal thing that most people I feel like should have. It's like having morals. You know what I mean? It's like having
a code.
Yeah, exactly.
Ethics.
The ethics. You know what I mean? Or what's the way of the warrior? We're like a judo.
The code of honor.
Bushido, the way of the warrior. The samurai, you have presence. You have this, internal goodness. And so I think it's just fucked up, like the whole steroids thing, because you should be just wanting to know how you stack up against the other guy. Because anybody in the fight industry knows that the fight industry is a business and it's corrupt and it has other things. And martial arts are not corrupt. They're like one way. So anybody that's like really in the know, like you and I know, like, okay, fine. Anderson Silva just fucking lost over the weekend.
Wait, what?
Is Anderson Silva the best martial artist on the fucking planet? Was Bruce Lee the best on the planet? Muhammad Ali the best boxer? Or did these people have some of the best managements ever?
No,
Did some of these people get supported the best? No, I'm saying, like, yo, man, when it comes to the top, like, upper echelon, the top 3, top 5 in the UFC, yeah, they're the shit. To the top 20, anybody that's in the fight game knows some of their sparring partners that possibly beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that you hear about Lamsam Khan beating the shit out of GSP and Muay Thai, that shit should be absolutely, utterly shocking to most MMA fans. What the fuck? You're talking about a small Thai guy beating the fuck out of GSP?
Mom's not that small.
He's not a small... You're right, but I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when it breaks down to it, though, there is that code. So I think the TRT thing is, once again, just for really just selfish motherfuckers that never lost in anything in their life, probably, and like the Chael Sonnens of the world. Like, obviously I'm a huge fan, but dude, like, if that's the type of dude that would be like losing hurts his soul. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that competitive a motherfucker. I don't understand why people honestly, like, when they lose, I just don't get it. I don't get why people, like, who represent different sports, by the way, like if you got a football team and you do like the whole like we won, what the fuck did you win, Chris Rock?
Yeah.
I don't get it. You didn't win shit. You're not on the team. Like it. I'm dude. I'm from Boston. Red Sox. Yes. Patriots. Yes. Not once when the Patriots ever won a fucking Super Bowl was I like
we won.
We won. No, man, it was fucking entertaining, and that's what it is. All sports are entertaining.
Baseball's not entertaining.
Baseball's not. I don't think it is either. MMA is the most entertaining sport on the planet, and that's why we're following it. But still, it's entertainment. It needs to be taken as such every once in a while.
I don't necessarily have a problem with TRT as long as the levels are kept to a natural limit. Like, if you're Randy Couture and you're 44 your test levels are naturally lower than the 25-year-old you're fighting. Now, there's an argument to be made, well, that you're 44, you shouldn't be fighting. But then again, if he's physically healthy, mentally competent, and able to physically do so, why not? As long as he doesn't exceed the normal level.
Right.
You know, if your body's not supposed to go over, I don't know, 700, as long as you stay under 700, cool. I kind of like Nevada's rule, which Nevada's rule is, if you've ever been busted for steroids, you cannot TRT. But if you've never been busted for steroids, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt that it's a naturally happening thing, and then we're okay with you using it.
You know what would be awesome? You know what would be the best way? Because I don't know if anybody really discusses this.
They should do it like bodybuilders, natural and unnatural?
No, just the best way would be if everybody in societies could be honest and forthright. It won't happen because of
transparency
of these types of things. No, but it would be great if everybody could just be honest and outright about everything. So, like, I know we'd have to, like, lose the war on drugs, and I don't really want to get political or wax intellectually about this, but say there was no war on drugs, so everybody could just be fucking absolutely dead honest. It would be awesome, because you could have those Barry Bonds, MMA motherfuckers that, like, are like, yo, I'm taking all sorts of Deca, Sustanol, whatever all the other growths, all the hormones and all that, and they're saying that, and then you could have like another dude that's like, yo, I'm a vegan, and we could test actual other body types to see what, and how great would that be too, if everybody could be just blatantly honest. So Nick Diaz is like, yo, I took 9 million bowling hits right before entering the cage. Let's see how I roll. Let's see what I do. You know what I mean? Think about it. Back in the 80s, MMA wasn't even fucking around. Think about it if it was. So you could have literally like a Michael Irving of fucking MMA, and he's just like, I'm gonna do a bunch of fucking lines. I'm gonna do a 8-ball of cocaine, and I'm just gonna go out there and fight him and see what the fuck happens.
That actually did happen. That did happen in Pride's one and only American show.
Really?
There was this, I can't remember his name. It was just a big black dude who used to play for the NFL, and he had his fight and he lost, and he tested positive for both crystal meth and cocaine.
Really?
And in such amounts that he would have taken it like in the bathroom before he fought. So he got jacked up on meth and blow, went out and fought. No, granted, if
that's a good time, man.
If I
like
remember
to know
correctly,
these things.
if I remember correctly, he was winning, but ended up getting knocked out like towards the end of the first. Which I don't like. Can you really like take a proper punch like when you're fucked up? Like I understand people, oh dude, that guy's on blow, he'll never fall. But your brain's already just going wham 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 wham,
and your heart's going wham wham.
That
wham.
one click. Maybe that, like, I would be worried that would shut you off for good. Right. More so than like, yo, dude got knocked out. But like,
and so this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it all breaks down to. Because that's the game. If you're playing it and you're risking it, like these are the things that I don't fucking get. Like back in the States, I don't know if you know this, Ree, because Ree is British. But like back in the States, you know, we have helmet laws for motorbikes because a dude crashing a motorbike, that's my tax money that has to pay for it to wipe your brain off the fucking road.
Helmet laws for people on the back of motorbikes and
right. So you got it too. I think that shit is retarded. I love that. It's another reason why I live in Thailand. I think that shit is retarded. If you're a dumb enough muppet to get your brains on the side of the fucking road because you're a retard, you were sitting in the back of the cab drinking fucking whiskey. Like, and then you fly out and you bust your head and you die.
And I look at the dust on my motorbike helmet.
Peace.
And think, oh.
Peace out.
Yeah,
you weren't that needed. Life didn't have that much in store for you.
No, it's the whole thing, man. There's enough idiots to take themselves out of the gene pool. We don't need controlling and that shit. Like,
it just happens like that. But nonetheless, let's get back on the gravy train that is the UFC. Now, I was unable to view. I had a private lesson in the morning.
Yes.
Which is one of my students doing the jiu-jitsu.
Just getting it done.
So
were they Asian?
No. They were actually, I believe, Mexican.
Okay.
Nonetheless, in Thailand, if you don't know, the UFC plays at like 7 in the morning.
Right.
We were up there, up in Soy.
Apparently God hates
Asia.
UFC Asian fans.
No, like, I don't know.
No,
People don't
he's
just
like, we're gonna put it at church time.
record it
They
and delay
provide us
it.
with internet, and internet is good enough.
Yeah.
So we're 30 minutes in. Let's cut to the chase. Let's
Right.
get to the big news. What was the big news, DJ IK? Anderson Silva getting his fucking face knocked off.
I swear, as he was acting like a dick, I was like, you've got to be careful with that possum game. 2 seconds later, he's out cold.
Right.
On
But
the
here-
fucking floor, man.
You've-
I'm not
you've-
even joking.
You've obviously seen the uproar of fans like, oh, he's a fucking faker. He's
Right.
got no respect.
Right.
Let's be realistic. He's done this the last. Let's be, okay,
Numerous.
he's done it.
But the
Against
whole
Stephen Bonner
fucking
was
round,
awesome.
We thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
We were like, he's in his head already.
Yeah.
He's fucking beat him already.
Right.
He's done
this
Yeah.
to his last 10 opponents. Keep in mind, he got the title in UFC 64.
Right.
He's on a 98 event win streak. Granted, he didn't fight in all of them, but a 98 event win streak. It's 162, and he is juked out.
What are you saying, Ben? Though, are you saying that like you believe in something like the people that say that it was rigged or it was?
No,
or are you
I'm
saying
more
that
commenting on Fairweather fandom and how these people are turning on they're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's a bad guy, he's an arrogant,
No,
he's
fuck that. The
but
dude
they're
is an
they're
excellent
twats.
fighter. He just lost out because he played his own game and it didn't work for him that night. That's it.
Any boxing coach in the world will tell you, if you put your hands down, you're gonna get punched in the face. Granted, Anderson Silva has like the best movement ever in
Fucking
MMA.
reflexes
But
of the-
eventually, someone's just gonna catch you on the
some leopards,
face.
some
Yeah.
shit.
It's a punch or a kick, and your hands are down. You're eventually gonna get hit. It happens. The guys with the best head movement in boxing got hit. Mike Tyson, possibly the best head movement in all of history, other than that white Jewish guy in the 50s named the Hebrew Hammer,
right?
great name, who actually won a round not throwing a single punch. You can look that up. I can't remember, his last name is Horowitz or Moskowitz. He was called the Hebrew Hammer in the 50s. He won rounds not punching. Nonetheless, other than him, like in terms of MMA, Anderson Silva has the best head movement in the sport.
Like, if you watch that replay, you're like, he gets not really tagged, but Weidman hits him in the face,
And he gets tipped.
and he pretends to play fucking possum. He wobbles his legs,
does the shuttle
and he's
move,
like, "Oh yeah, I'm really hurt."
Yeah,
and then,
he gets tipped.
Weidman thinks he's hurt him and moves in, and Anderson Silva has this idea that I can get out of the way of his punches. You see him,
And he can, he's
he
done it
moves his
1,000
head back,
times.
thinking Weidman's not going to hit him. And Weidman clips him
And
on the
he's
chin,
clipped him.
and you see Anderson Silva's eyes. They're like, "What the fuck
Turn
just
off.
happened to
Bro,
me?"
Now,
If
once
you-
again,
if you
like,
can
are either of you thinking still the main conversation that we should have, because everybody's obviously having the same conversations that we're having, is though, like, once again, do you think Anderson Silva was sitting back like, yo, if I get knocked out, it doesn't fucking matter. This is good for because, by the way, if I lose, it's actually better for my career. It's actually better for my career. It puts things back into no. It puts everything back into. It puts everything back into because aside from, by the way, Anderson Silva, like Dana White's already talking about
If you watch
how
the
like
post-fight
right,
interviews, he's
where they-
acting like he didn't care.
he's
like,
I'm saying it was better
he
for his
was
career
better
for
than
sure.
me. He's better fighter. And
Dana White talks about the only option like they had for like a
didn't
super fight
mind.
was maybe John Jones and like how John Jones is
Did you hear
depressed
what
about
Silva
that.
said about that?
But he doesn't give a fuck about that either.
He said
John Jones fight. John Jones will win.
He would lose.
said it months ago.
He said, there's no shadow of a doubt. And when asked why, he was like, the only thing I've got is experience. He's got all the skills I've got. He's fucking taller. He's longer.
Right.
He's younger. All I've got is experience. So maybe I can win. But actually,
I think there's a certain point. Like this sounds kind of dick, but like no.
pound fighter say that about another guy is a serious fucking statement.
Well, but it's also, it has to do with, once again, your education and your maturity level. Homeboy's over 30. He's got millions of dollars.
He's not an idiot.
He's not a fucking clown. He's not an idiot. You know what I mean? You get to a point where I think, because I think when you're younger and competition is competition, like I said before right now, like I sound like a douche and I'm a hypocritical motherfucker because I'm saying that, like, once again, like, I'm not that competitive, because I'm not right now. When I was in college, we were playing football, or I was wrestling, or I was doing any type of Muay Thai. If I lost it, you were on the verge of tears. I personally, though, once again, I think that Anderson Silva, dude, you get to a certain point in your career where, once again, you've won all the time. You haven't gotten knocked off. I don't think that it was a rigged fight or anything like that. But I definitely think that, like, you know, he's like, oh, I took this fight so seriously. I took it so seriously. I took this so seriously. Did he really? Did he really take it so seriously?
Probably. Though, if you watch some of the interviews, he was like, if Weidman beats me, it's like the storybook ending.
Right.
So, and then there was like, and then afterwards he's like, you know, I'm not gonna fight for any more titles anymore. Like, he's like, I did everything I can. I took care of my family. Well, my family's taken care of forever. Blah blah blah. I've achieved everything I want to achieve. Whatever.
Check it out, man. If you're fucking Michael Jordan of any sport, you're like the Michael. You know what I mean? And you can win at any time. So you get 9 championships in a fucking row. You got 9 championships. Everybody's bored of seeing your fucking ass win. All right. What is awesome for your career?
Losing.
Lose. And after you lose, you get to come back if you're that good. If you're that good. And there's like a select few, obviously, that are that good. But if you got to that point of winning, who cares?
He chose to lose that fight.
He's saying he threw the fight.
I'm not saying that he threw the fight. I'm not saying that he threw the fight. What I'm saying is that, like, dude, he didn't throw the fight. He obviously got knocked out. What I'm saying is that when you get to a level that he's at, reckless abandon comes in because because you're such a winner, you either want to just like have a highlight reel something happen, like, because that's really what cockiness and ego comes down to.
So good,
like, because how about if nobody's really talking about this? How about if he had bobbed, weaved, come around and hit Chris Weidman and fucking knocked him out? Everybody would have been like, holy shit, motherfucker was dancing for the first minute and a half of the fight, and then took Weidman out when he wanted to.
Now,
and nobody's really discussing that, are they?
Let's focus on what's really important here. How does Chael Sonnen feel?
How does Chael Sonnen feel?
We don't know.
What I mean?
Leave it in the comments on the
How
side
does Chael Sonnen
if
feel?
you're on the app, and below if you're on the website. This has been live from Bangkok. Check out darefightsports.com. Jon Nutt on Facebook. Ben Stark BJJ MMA on Facebook. Ben Stark HH on Twitter. DJ IK on SoundCloud.
A bunch of stuff with IK.
Yeah, something IK, DJ IK, SoundCloud, 2 Bar Productions.
Google
Darefightsports.com. Check us out. I don't mean to cut the conversation, but we're well over time. Live from Bangkok. See you next week.
Nostrovia.